Welcome, friends. Just me today. The trials of life call my friends away, so I'm reduced to sharing my whiskey with my online friends. Been a while, and not to bury the lead, but obviously you can tell what I think of this bottle. I was a little surprised by this when I went out to buy a bottle of bourbon for cooking purposes. Made quite a few things recently, bourbon pecan chocolate pie in particular, but some chilies and some sauces as well. And found this Maker's Mark, number 46, French oaked, on sale for $27, well within our price point of under 30. I had good experiences with Maker's Mark in the past, so I figured, what the heck, I'll give it a try. And I'm not entirely sure what the French oaked portion of it was supposed to provide. Maker's was always a friendly bourbon to me, not overly oaky, not overly sweet. Not the best I'd ever had by any means, but a fine selection. And after tasting this a few times neat, it does have some qualities that regular Maker's doesn't have. Maybe a little bit spicier. It's been a while since I've had it because I'm typically more of a Scotch guy. But on the nose, still sweet. But again, a sort of spiciness, I suppose, that I don't really get out of a lot of other bourbons. The wood tannins are there on the nose, but yeah, not as pronounced as some that I've had, especially cheaper bourbons. Up front, again, sweet, simple. On the back end, that's where the wood tannins, the spice, the pepper, it kicks in. Slight fruity note, but not that pronounced, and not one that I could definitely put my finger on like I can with some other things, like a stone fruit or something like that. But for the price point, fine bourbon, no complaints. Again, I don't consider many bourbons neat sipping. Hey Charlie, how you doing? You can't have bourbon. I'm sorry, little girl. So most of my bourbon drinking is in cocktails, usually in an old fashioned. But if someone gave this to me at a bar or at a get together, I would not be disappointed. And I tell you, after a week of Mondays at work, that's a welcome dram. And just as a side by side, I got a little airport bottle of regular Maker's just to see how it compares. And out of all the bourbons, I think Maker's is probably one of the hardest to get into. Another fine quality screw top there. So, okay, yeah. On the nose, the difference is immediate. There's a spiciness, an extra dimension there that is lacking in the standard Maker's compared to the 46. The standard Maker's smells sweeter. To me, the corn note a little bit more pronounced. Yeah, the 46 is definitely a spicier, a little bit more complex. This is what I expect out of bourbon. Simple, straightforward. The wood notes are not as strong. I will say it about that, about the regular as opposed to the compared to the 46. Not bad. I gotta say, if push comes to shove, with both under 40 bucks, unless this were like 10 bucks more, I'd probably pick the French oaked over the regular Makers. Not to say that I didn't enjoy that standard makers. I enjoyed it quite a bit for a bourbon. Not bad. It's got a good taste to it. This French oak just has another dimension. It's like another gear when you're driving. Let's see what Makers has to say on it. Simplified notes of, amplified notes of vanilla, caramel, spice. Yeah, it's the spice that really stands out. Not a lot of bitterness. The only thing that really hangs on is the pepper, the black pepper notes. I don't know what else to say about this other than this is a significantly higher proof bourbon than I would have thought. It's a 47%. Huh. How does that compare to standard Makers is 45, so it's slightly higher. I did not taste the extra 2%. But yeah, I would highly recommend if you're a bourbon fan, you're looking for something to mix it up just a little bit. This is a quality bottle. I'm suitably impressed by it. I always thought that Makers looked snazzy on the bar too, with the wax dipping on the neck. Again, revisiting it after the first Makers, it does have a sweetness. It's not quite like a baker's spice like rye would be, but there is a certain complexity I can't quite put my finger on that is really enjoyable out of that. And it might be because my palate's been blunted after a couple neat sips, but man, that's an easy drinker. Quality sip. I'm suitably impressed. So for a spur of the moment pick that I really never really intended to be something I'd keep on the top of my bar to drink regularly, definite thumbs up on the Makers 46. If I'm going to get a bourbon, typically it's going to be Angel's Envy would be what I'd go for first. Woodford Reserve is another one that I really enjoy, and was surprised to see that it is now in our bottom shelf range, sub $30. So I may be reviewing that in the near future. So for all of you out there, thank you for enjoying a sip with me. Hopefully you had something that you enjoyed as well, because it's the end of my very long work day. I'm going to enjoy just a tiny bit more before I'm back to what I need to do. All of us at the bottom shelf, to all of you out there, enjoy. And we'll see you next time.